Okay.
So they said they were there to convene this court, which means they were there to proceed on criminal charges, and then they proceeded to do a minor technical adjustment to their paperwork on their session work. So once again, they were duplicitous and deceitful and either lying or ignorant of the use of the words, and in either case, we don't conduct business with people who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
And for the benefit of anybody that cares to, I suggest you look up the word convene, the word session, and the word legislature.
Yeah. And as far as convene, let's face it, that's for my convenience. They call me there and tell me they're going to do something convenient for me, and then they proceed to modify the charges from under 3 kilograms to over 3 kilograms, and through their attempt to ignore my demands that they attend to the word his in the original charge. When they say Alan Spenceley and John Spenceley, and then his, that implies a corporation, and they have no evidence of that corporation, and finally they admitted that they needed to make that change. Now I can give proper consideration to the charge, because now I can consider it as a separate charge. That's what I got to say about what happened in court today.
At least they're acknowledging us as separate beings. The charges are still cohesive. We still have to fight that, but at least we got one stepping stone in the water.
And when he said, "Oh no, you won't be sending anything by registered mail," I said, "That's the only way that we can respond in the notarial process," and the room fell silent. So unless I get a notice in 3 days, modifying the acquiescence of his acceptance of the fact that he's going to receive a notarial process paperwork sometime in the next 3 business days. Today being Wednesday, that means I've got pretty much till the end of business. Well, you figure it out. Do your own research.
Well, he didn't even seem to, like, he got kind of upset when you were talking about this 3 days thing. You know, 3 days grace is what I understood, right?
I have 3 days to give due consideration to any offer. I can accept, conditionally accept, or refuse for cause. I'm going to be sending an offer of conditional acceptance. You're going to have to figure out the nature of that. Has anybody got something I can make use of this? You know,
what would you guys have to say about the what's the word I'm looking for? The air, I guess, in the courtroom today, like the
ambiance?
Yeah, like, because I mean, it was just what I saw. I mean,
the judge looked irate, the prosecutor looked bemused, the attending bailiffs looked a little bewildered, and there were a couple of hostile faces and a couple of friendly faces. What can you say? It's a crowd. A friend heard them say, "We're going to need more officers up here." The room was full of uniforms.
Yeah, they were getting ready
to attack again.
Yeah. And I mean, you had your hands behind. I mean,
a couple law-abiding peace officers.
I identified myself as Freeman Allen of the Spenceley family. They don't even know how to pronounce my name. It's spelled A-L-A-N, and most people read that and they confuse it with the common use of the name, which I generally accept people calling me Allen. But when these people are going to be fussy, they're talking about my family name, which was given to me for my convenience within the use of my own family. Anybody else is using my name is abusing my name, especially when they don't pronounce it properly. It's pronounced the same way that it's spelled, A-L-A-N. You say it quickly, it's alien. That's how you pronounce my name properly. It makes me irate when these people don't get to know you before they try and conduct business with you, and they try and do the shell game and the bully game, and they pull out their guns and wave them around and their tasers and all that horse shit, and try to act as though you're not under duress.
Compliance.
Yeah, they identify cooperation with compliance to their policy, when we've made it very clear that the policy doesn't apply to us because we are not allowed the benefits of their society. How can we take on the responsibilities of their society if we're not granted the benefits of their society?
So where does that leave you now?
With the least beneficial way of modifying my dietary and sleeping habits.
Well,
rather than
I made
the
a
oil,
couple
which works
objections.
perfectly well.
I made a couple objections in court.
Mm-hmm.
Among them, most importantly, the Judge Barry Strayer's position on that ruled that all laws in Canada as pertains to marijuana were unconstitutional and therefore void, meaning that there are no laws, and furthermore that the Federal Court of Appeals in 2008, a tribunal of judges, ruled that Judge Barry Strayer's ruling was correct and just in its ruling. And that ruling, I believe with your own research, will show that he said no rule would apply as pertains to marijuana until the medical marijuana community was content with the laws made. Now, from my understanding, only one law has been made since then, and the very next day in the newspapers,
Medical journals,
medical journals, everywhere, it was very plain and obvious to the medical community in general was not pleased with this law, therefore, reverting to the previous judge's ruling, the law they just made was a waste of the government's time, taxpayers' money, and every single action since that, and frankly, before that, all the way back December 10th, 1997, when Judge Chen made a ruling in the same manner, there's been judge after judge across the country ruling it unconstitutional, and every action of the RCMP or any other officer agency that's supposedly ruling in favor of policy is acting on piracy and not policy, because there are no more policies of that type. Thank you. Have a good day.
So listen.
No. Constitution. I've been waiting patiently. You need to look up the word Constitution. It became necessary so as to avoid charges of treason, to avoid charges of high treason. The reason that they need a Constitution is because they're running in red ink. You need to do your research, people. Now,
As secured parties, we don't run in red ink.
Well, why would you have to go to trial unless they can prove to you that there is a law?
Well, that's
just one more layer of the onion.
They think that we're going back to lay a plea or something or other in April, when in fact
23rd.
we can't make that plea until it's been proven that there's in fact a charge. So the objection that I made then will be made again in April. And for what it's worth, we have, as we stated before, told them that there will be cameras in court. Somehow we didn't manage to have that this time, but we fully intend to have cameras, probably more than one next time.
That'd be helpful too.
Even if all we do is establish their unwillingness to go on public record. They make all these secret documents for the private corporation, all in defense of a policy that's been around since the 1400s, under the guise of correcting our moral rectitude.
Any final things?
Final things. I made mention of the fact that they're joining us together in a contract that isn't in evidence. Are they prepared to stipulate some kind of contract that is in evidence? If they can't show it, then they can't proceed on it.
Well, I have a final addition myself. As a peace officer, I must say, I don't think it would be to the advantage of the Corporation of Canada to put such people as ourselves in jail, because the education